The chats that are ruining your chance at finding love and commitment. That's what we're talking about tonight. And it's going to be a little tweak to that chats. You might be thinking the texting you're doing back and forth or the snapping you're doing back and forth. Actually, it's going to be much deeper than that. And it is what can be holding you back and truly ruining your chance at finding true love, commitment, the full 9 yards. And I'm going to be talking to somebody tonight who's coming on, which is great. I like to talk to the women in the 80/20 Wonder Club who come on and want to talk to me. You can do that too. You can ask any question. We can have a dialogue. I love doing that, and I want to be there for you in whatever state you are in, the journey you're on, the path you're on. It's all about getting you what you want with the man you want. So if you don't know who I am, you're just coming to this video or my channel for the first time. I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I help you find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship with a man you truly desire so you create the relationship of your dreams and level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. That's what we are all about when we are here live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night, and of course, all the other times. But I am here for you to answer your questions live on those evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. So we want to get tonight to the chats, C.H.A.T.S, that are ruining your chance at finding love and commitment. If you want to put a hello in the chat so I know you're here, or you can type out chats, because if you like this acronym, which I think you will, you're going to get a lot of benefit from really taking this in and changing up what you might be doing to truly hurt your chances. Hi there. Good to see you here. Great. I was looking forward to tonight. I love that. I'm going to put that up. Yeah, me too, because this is a good one. It's something I designed for you so that you will remember, because typically, like one guru said, I don't remember who it was, but we don't need more information. We need more reminding. In other words, if you're here, you know what you need to know, fundamentally speaking, but you might be falling off in terms of not remembering to implement what you've learned through the information you've gotten. So that's what I like to do on these lives, and of course in talking to you too. And again, we're going to talk to, I know someone is on tonight, and I will get to you. I think it is, yes, Christine. We're going to check in with Christine, because on Wednesday night, Christine was not able to come on. We're going to check with her about how she made it through the week. And this is going to relate to what she's talking about. So let's get to what this acronym is and how it is hurting your chances. So on a thumbnail, we put ruining. Now, it can, but doesn't mean it's totally ruining your chances. What it means is, though, it's likely hurting your chances. And if you are with someone, hurting your relationship with him. Yes, Roblox Man. This is my son's YouTube name. Can't change it. That's absolutely fine. But I'm glad that it's a woman behind that YouTube name. That's great. Hi there. Yes, we'll get to the questions in the Q&A. Okay. So great one here. I see one about X's, and I do want to welcome everyone on Instagram as well. Hopefully you can hear me. And again, it's not as easy for me to uh, to get on and excuse me, see the chats in both places. So if you are on Instagram, come on over to YouTube, join us here because I have the chats right in front of me and I can better answer your questions in the Q&A. So let's get to it. What are or what is this acronym CHATS and what is hurting you most? Again, this is for you to remember, to remind you of your own expectations that are hurting your chance of allowing a Mr. Right into your life, a potential Mr. Right, certainly having him stay there, and getting real commitment and subsequently real fulfillment long term and hopefully lifelong. I truly believe women are love in the world, and we want to give love as much as we get love. That's what really makes us love in the world. And we certainly give out love in a way that men cannot, which is through our bodies, we bring life into the world, which, if you want to think about it this way, life is love and vice versa. So I don't want you to be hurting yourself or hurting your chances vis-a-vis your expectations, which I am seeing more and more. And the younger you are, the more you will have these. But make no mistake, if you are anywhere younger than probably 70, maybe even 80, you are going to have these because it's been in our culture and in our society, especially in the Western world. And these are our expectations of men in relationships, or just of men in and of themselves as men. There is a famous rabbi who said something, and I'm paraphrasing, men are only human, and sometimes they're not even that. And this is not in any way to impugn men, make them the bad guy, not at all. If you know me here, that's not what we're about. Men, I don't believe, have toxic masculinity. Masculinity just is. And a man, from his psychosocial being, something that might be going on for him, he can be toxic, but there's nothing inherently toxic about his masculinity, okay? Just like there wouldn't be anything inherently toxic about our femininity. Femininity, in and of itself, we look at the definition, it is what it is. Masculinity, it is what it is. Let's not make it out to be that we are victims of something that men do. Now, we, of course, can be, but it's usually about not a groupthink, not something in our society that we've hooked onto because it sells and it makes a good amount of views on social media. But let's look at our expectations of what men can give us, are to us, are in relationships, and how we are hurting ourselves by those expectations kind of going off the charts. So let's look at them from the bottom up, because I think, as I've outlined them in chats, they've just kind of fallen out to be C is the number one reason, okay, and the number one expectation that hurts us in relationships with men. So let's get to it before we talk to Christine on the phone and get to the Q&A, which I want to do. And just before we start, if you would do me that solid and put a like on this video, that helps the algorithms and helps people know that we're here and doing the chat. So, I'm sorry, doing the lives about chats tonight. Okay, so what is the S in chats? That we are expecting a man to sacrifice or sublimate his intrinsic desires in life, whether that be vocational, advocational, even relational, to subjugate them, sublimate them, or squash them in any way, to be in a relationship with us. Now, you may say, well, everybody has to one degree or another. Yes, but it's small. The percentage is small. If we are expecting, and this I see quite a bit, that men are to squash, like, fundamentally who they are, meaning they should be able to relate softly to us and talk to us for hours like a girlfriend would, and be everything on a scale from feminine to masculine. This is what I mean about squashing who they are and sacrificing part of who they are, what they want to do. This can go all the way to us not maybe liking what they do in life and wanting them to do something else. I see this heavily around certain things that are certainly utilitarian, like he stops drinking, he stops smoking pot, he stops smoking, he stops his workaholism, whatever it is. That is fundamentally him changing, right? Sublimating, sacrificing for the relationship in order to have the relationship. So if you make, whether overt or covert, the message to him that he must fundamentally sacrifice what he wants, who he is, sublimate or subjugate himself or his needs, wants, it's not, your expectations are out of line, and it's going to hurt you and hurt your chances to have the relationship with him. So that's number 5. Next is T, the big T. Time. Your idea of time in a relationship is very different than his. And your expectations of the putting time in a category of how he feels about you. It's kind of like the, if he spent X amount of time, that would mean he loves me. And this can come from subconscious programming you have about not getting your needs met, not being seen, not being worthy, and not getting time, attention, and affection. Men have a very different idea about this because they intrinsically feel their time is best spent doing things for the providing or protecting of the relationship, meaning, most generally speaking, work and making money. So you must really decide these expectations, this one that we're talking about, time, can hurt you because if you are with a man who is very achieved, has a lot of agency, has a lot going on in his life, maybe makes a lot of money, driven, he's not going to have time for your relationship in the way that you may need it. You have to choose. But that's why I'm saying the T in this CHATS is an important expectation for you to truly think about, because you must make those accommodations for him in terms of time. Men and women view time very differently. I always say women are through time. We incorporate time into everything we do, even who we are. We mark time in a way, even with our bodies, menstrual cycles, etc., in a way that men just don't. They're on top of time. They're the hunters of us. They're right at the ready to strike when they see something that needs to be taken care of, hunted down, etc. Very, very different. And you will potentially harm yourself and your relationship by expecting a certain amount of time that is not concurrent with who he is and what he does. Again, it's an expectation that you must examine and figure out for yourself. Because I always say, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. So you must make a choice. If I want a man, very achieved, high agency, makes a lot of money, financially stable, a mover and shaker in the world, he's not going to have the same amount of time as your 9-to-5 guy who is happy where he is. Just not a mover and shaker, perhaps. Nothing wrong with that. You as the woman, decide. Because if you put certain expectations of time on a man who values his time differently, doesn't mean he doesn't love you, doesn't mean he doesn't want the relationship. But this is a big one, and why it is number 4. Really do some thinking about that. Ask me any questions in the chats about that. Okay. The A, number 3, the A. We just talked about it. Agency. Thank you, Kara said. Wow, so insightful. Well, it's super, super duper important for your happiness. It's like I always say, I love that in the American Black community, they have a saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Very true. Because when you are happy in the relationship, as you know I talk about, the man wants 2 things. 2. He wants safety, and there are 2 headings in safety, and happiness. Under safety, safe that you are in the Madonna, of Freud's Madonna whore category. We talk about that a lot. If you don't know it, look up Sigmund Freud's Madonna whore dichotomy. He must feel safe that you are girlfriend, wife, mother material to commit to you fully. Second, he must feel safe from your emotional dysregulation. And if you get your expectations in line, like we're talking about tonight, you will be more emotionally regulated. And that's what we need and want for him to feel safe. Safe. Then we got the happiness. Over here is that he and who he is without these chats make you happy. Make you, as his woman, happy. The time he spends with you and can spend with you makes you happy. The fact that he does not have to sublimate, subjugate, sacrifice his being, his doing, who he is, why he is, where he is, when he is, for the most part, that makes you happy. And again, it's not always 100%, but it needs to be a good 80%. Mm-hmm. And the A now, number 3. You need to know for yourself so you don't put expectations on him that are not appropriate in this way. You need to take stock of his agency. Agency is this. Think about if you were, and everybody has somebody in their life that has high agency. If you took a trip to a foreign land and you landed up in jail for some reason, you were arrested, and you could make one call for someone you know who would go to town and work like hell to get you out, who would that be? There's typically everybody has one person that immediately comes to mind. That person has very high agency. So here's what we do in relationships with men. We tend to be most attracted to men who have high agency. They're more the doers. They're driven. They make things happen in life. They are probably somebody else's person to call if they were in that jail. Those men tend to be charismatic, and women tend to feel safe with those men. Everybody's on a scale of agency. And also, we're on a scale of agency depending on who we're with. So you might be an extremely low agency person, very timid, not somebody who's a mover and shaker if you are. But if you are with someone, say, mentally challenged or a child, you will be called on in those moments to have more agency. So it's on a scale. But in terms of us tonight, talking about your expectations and not allowing them to ruin your chance at true love, commitment, and happiness, you have to, like Shakespeare said, know thyself. What kind of agency do you really need? Because you can't take a man who has more medium to low agency and attempt to have him have high agency. Not going to work. It's not fundamentally who he is. And there is no judgment about either or, because the world is made up of people with high and lower agency. Great, because we can't all have high agency or, oh my gosh, the world would implode. We need people to balance out. People who have maybe some lower agency. And there's nothing wrong with it. But you need to know what is going to keep me going. I cannot put my expectations, if I need a certain level of high agency, on someone who is otherwise foots, meets the criteria, but I'm putting this expectation on him that is going to make him feel less than. Mm-mm. So that's number 3. Okay, Life of Cherry Lane. I've been waiting for this chat to tell you. Okay, great. Lay it on me. We'll get to it during the Q&A. All right, so let's get to number 2 in C.H.A.T.S. We're going backwards. We are now at the H. The expectation that he and this relationship will make you happy. Happiness is not something that we arrive at and stay at. It is a state. It is a state that we can somewhat choose in our lives, and everyone has a baseline. Everyone has a baseline of their happiness. And again, this is fundamentally set from our programming and childhood. It can be worked on, though, and certainly we want to be conscious of it. Because if we could truly look at the reality of things, for example, we're all here tonight having this live time together, all of this. Most of us have had enough food, we have hot water, we have electricity. We're doing great comparatively. We have bank accounts, most of us here, right? First world problems. We're doing good. As a matter of fact, overnight, minimally, 130,000 people died while we slept. And we missed that lottery. We weren't one of them last night. And we want to make sure we're not on that list tonight. But none of us are guaranteed. So we want to make the most of it. And like the song, don't worry, be happy. We can see people, it's whether they have a lot of resources or not, they can be happy. And studies have shown that there is a baseline happiness. And this is seen in research that they have done, whereby people who break their necks and are paralyzed, and people who win the lottery, within 2 to 3 years, they are back at their baseline of happiness. So what does that tell us? It is not what is happening to us. It's what is happening inside us that makes us happy. So if you are looking for this man and this relationship to make you happy, you're going to be on the wrong track. As I like to say, think of it, a relationship with your man, that he and the relationship is not the entree in your meal. He's merely the dessert. And many times he's not even the dessert, he's simply the cherry on top of the dessert. This allows you to know I am in charge of my happiness and making my life happy, me happy. When mama's happy, everybody happy. But it's not about Papa making her happy. He is the dessert, the cherry on top. Now let's get to number 1. Thank you. AJG says, wow, that puts it in perspective. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. That study about people who actually are paralyzed and people who are fine and win the lottery, in 2 to 3 years' time, they're both back to their baseline. So the person who won the lottery, if they were miserable beforehand, they'll be miserable then. They'll have a spike and be happy, but they'll be back to miserable. If the person who broke their neck was basically a happy person, they'll be back to their baseline of happiness even with the neck broken. Wow. More power to those folks. That's some of which they are now proving is actually born traits. But again, we can work on it. We can work on it. And we want to make sure we are not putting any of that fundamental happiness on the relationship or the man. That's why we want to kind of be cooked going into a relationship. And number one in C.H.A.T.S, the C. This, we all know, we've heard it a million times. This is what women tend to do when they find a man that they are falling for and they see his potential. And what do they want to do? They want to, ding, 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 change him. Many of the things we talked about here, the time, the having him subjugate or supplement his wants or sacrifice himself, all of that. It's all about this C, and why I started from the bottom up. And it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The biggest thing we do is attempt to change him in some fashion. And that I like to talk about here, because what we're talking about here is change ourselves to the degree that we know has the best effect for us and our man, and we see any amount of change that is possible with him. But we cannot set out to change him. That expectation will hurt us absolutely and fundamentally and get us nowhere. So write these down. C.H.A.T.S. Are you doing any of that? That's the challenge. Get to it. Take anything that you're thinking about with him. I'd like to change this about him. Well, then go within. What do I want to change for me? What do I need to change? What would be a great change for him to see in me? And maybe follow suit. That can be better. So I'm going to get to your questions. I hope that was helpful. We need reminding. That's what this is about. So anything that I can do to make it memorable to you, chat. C, am I trying to change him? H, am I making him responsible for my happiness? A, am I fundamentally wanting him to have a different level of agency? T, am I expecting a certain amount of time, and when I don't get it, it's not in alignment with what I want, and then I put that expectation on him and it starts to erode the relationship. And finally, 5S, am I expecting him to subjugate, sublimate, or sacrifice his intrinsic desires, who he is, how he behaves, what he does for me? And if he doesn't, I think he doesn't love me and it's not going to work. Rather than either I accept and support growth. I accept him and support growth. That's it. All right, so I'm going to get to Christine, who's on the line, and also check in the chat here for any questions. Okay, so let me get to Christine, who is on the line. Let's see. Christine, are you there? Yes. Hi there. Christine?
Hello, hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. We missed you on Wednesday. You were going to update us as to what you were working on for the week and how it's worked out for you and how you're doing. Can you encapsulate for all of us what you were working on?
Right. Yeah, I was working on just being more positive. I know your big thing was focus on you and he will too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was supposed to be kind of like telling myself more positive affirmations.
Okay.
I can't say I worked on it tremendously, I'll be honest, but I will say I've started to lose interest and I haven't been like worried about them and like I was, and so that's pretty much where I'm at now.
Oh, okay. So when you say I haven't been worried about him as much, it's having some little effect.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So you say I haven't been worried about him as much. So it must be
Mhm.
having some little effect. Just the actual thoughts of this little reframe we're doing is having
Mhm.
some little effect.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. So maybe that is really what's going on. I don't know, been focused on school, just kind of my own thing. I noticed that I'm not checking Instagram as much.
Yay.
I'm not checking. Yeah, I'm not checking my phone as much, nearly as much, and I'm just kind of. I don't know. I haven't heard from him. I think the last time was when he told me he had surgery, and I said, "Well, I hope you recover quickly." And he said, "Thanks," and that was it. There was nothing else that has been said.
Okay. So you sound more level about it, if that makes sense. Like not as
Mm-hmm.
anxious.
Absolutely.
Great. That's fantastic. Yes. And do you uh or did you take in that I said, I believe when the dust settles, you may be hearing from him again, but if you don't, you know that he is open to your reach outs and you can when you are ready.
I that part I guess I don't understand because for me it doesn't seem like he's interested in anything, like interested in talking or anything, because I don't hear from him unless I reach out to him.
Oh, so it's gotten to a point where you haven't heard from him unless you reach out?
Yes.
Well, I'm just gonna, from what I know, I'm gonna give you just a question around that
Mm-hmm.
because when we last left off, he texted you on a Saturday night and said, "Are you around? Are you working?"
Mm-hmm.
And that was his reach out. And
Mm-hmm.
then you answered him on the Monday and said, actually, I had a test. I was so focused, and I was studying for the test or whatever." And he accepted that and said, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So, what makes you believe that if you don't reach out, he doesn't reach out to you?
Well, just based on the last few weeks, he hasn't reached out to me. Like I think the last time I talked to him was last Saturday, and he hasn't reached out the whole week. I haven't reached out to him either.
But I'm gonna just throw something for you to think about. Is that
Okay.
he texted you that Saturday night, and you got back to him on the Monday and said, "I was studying." He texted you back and said something about the surgery then?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. And so he offered something that was going on in his life, and you said, "Good luck with that." And he said, "Thanks." And that was when?
That was last Saturday.
Okay. So not this past one, but the one
Yeah,
before? Or the past one?
Yeah, this past Saturday.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was.
All right. So the point is that there's nothing indicating that he doesn't reach out to you if you don't reach out to him. He reached out to you that Saturday. Okay. And he's had a surgery. I don't know how serious that was, but he's always open to your reaching out. It's just you have in your mind that if he doesn't, then he isn't interested. And this is what I mean about expectations. This is at a long distance, and it's not really clear what your relationship is at the moment. You're just talking again after a hiatus, correct?
Honestly, we're not even talking. That's the thing. Like, we don't communicate. There's no texting, there's nothing.
Well, you were for a little bit when you first, when we did our second podcast. You were, and he was calling now and again. When I say talking, you see, I'm not putting the T in the chats on it. In other words, because see, his time frame is not yours. There is no, which I love this for anybody, you can write this one down. I've kind of encapsulated it from a couple of affirmations. There is no urgency, worry, lack, limitation, or need. But there's something in you that if he doesn't every 2 days or however many times a week, then it means it's all thrown out. And I would like you to get more comfortable with it's going at a turtle's pace. But that's fine given your circumstances. Right? So instead of it's altogether off, are you okay with the gray area of, I don't know yet, we'll see. This is unfolding. I don't know yet. Can you get comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm not sure because, like you said, it clearly is a gray area, and you're making points that I didn't really think about. As far as it's going at a slower pace than what I guess I would be used to. But for sure, it kind of makes sense because even when the pace was faster, it's not like those relationships panned out anyway.
Yes, yes.
For me, yeah, and I guess for me, in my head, it's like if you don't hear from someone in a week, it means they don't like you. That's how I've always kind of thought.
Okay. That is another expectation related to time. And again, it's not that it couldn't mean what you're saying, but it also might not mean what you're saying. Right. And all I'm saying,
how would one know? Like, I assume we're not supposed to ask them.
No, it's not going to help you to ask him. What you can do is you can attempt, in other words, in this case, and again, I live in the rules of 80-20. He's to do 80% of it, you can do 20. But in this case, since he had the surgery, you can check and see how he's doing if you choose to, and it's fine. For you and him, because of the previous relationship you had, he needs to feel an ease and a normalcy of just some give and take and back and forth. And it threw him when you did not answer on the Saturday night. It threw him. Would you say that's true? It changed a little.
A little, yeah, because prior to that Saturday, he had texted me Wednesday, and I didn't respond Wednesday.
Okay, so what were you showing him? You didn't respond Wednesday, and then he does again on Saturday. You don't respond on Saturday. Men are people too. They have their insecurities and needs. I would suggest for you, but again, it's going to make you feel anxious. You have to deal with that part of it and just give to him, because even if it's going to be over, even if, which I'm not saying it is, if you send, I wanted to check and see how you're doing post surgery. Been thinking of you. Given your situation, all the years you've known each other, and the at a long distance, it would be the lovely thing to do. And if it may just jumpstart, given what he's said in the past, and you can go from there. It's absolutely appropriate given your situation.
Okay.
Yeah. But make sure that you're feeling, after you do it, no urgency, no worry, no lack, no need. Say to yourself, I live divinely in my manifestation, allowing for it to make its most expedient way to me. You're saying to the universe, I'm offering this up to you. I know you're going to bring it to me in the fastest way possible. I'm going to hold fast to these good feelings. That's all. I would try it, and then you can come on and tell us how it went. Everybody's rooting for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, great. Take care, Christine. We'll talk again.
Yes, thank you, Paula. Have a good night.
You too. And it's if anybody wants to hear the podcast, I'll have to look it up for you. I'll put it in the chat. Christine did an episode. Really, really fond of this episode. Very vulnerable. She is straightforward, honest. And I really liked helping her out with this. And the full episode is up here on YouTube. It's not the most recent, but the next one. And I will put it in the description of this video so you can go right to it and listen to it. It's a worthwhile listen. And if you haven't, then become a member of the 80/20 Wonder Club, and you can talk to me here like Christine did with anything. It's, I always say, less than a latte per month to join monthly. You can cancel at any time, and you get all 200 plus episodes there in the club that are all ad free and in full. All my coaching of unique situations, getting an ex back, a situationship, friends with benefits, older women, younger men, dating, divorced. There's categories for you to listen to in 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. So that's also in the description, and you can go ahead and get that, and then we can be talking here. But I want to get to the other Q&A tonight. Angel, hi, I'm in no contact with my ex. How do I know when is the right time to answer his text or call? Well, that is an interesting question, Angel, because this is the most important thing in terms of the lure him back process. We need to understand, and I would need much more context of your relationship, how you broke up, what were the circumstances around that breakup, what was said, how it was left, etc. Generally speaking, though, when the man first comes around and comes back and starts texting or calling, if you want this, you will be immediately your heart starts racing and you think, oh my God, he wants me back. The man is not as in touch with that. All he's doing is a manly thing of testing to see if you will answer, not what the answer is. And he's not in a space of getting back together, most generally speaking. There are outliers and sometimes, but generally speaking, he is not in a place to get you back yet. It's what you do that guides him to it. And generally speaking, those first few reach outs, if they are just highs, checking in with you, seeing how you're doing, how's the family? You left this here at the house or whatever. If you've established no contact, established it, and you have said in one way, shape, or form, I don't wish to be in contact. It really would not serve any purpose. And I wish you all the best. If there's been a form of that, that's starting no contact. He's just attempting to push you off your stance of no contact, and he will thrive and coast on your answer, whatever it is. It's just to see if he can get you to answer, not what your answer is, because he's not even asking anything major. Just that you will answer him. Then that assuages his anxiety. He can breathe a sigh of relief that when he's good and ready, if he ever wants you back, you'll answer. Don't answer. Generally speaking. But I can't totally give you that answer because I don't know what the context is. I don't know what he texted, and it's too much for chat. So, Angel, what I would recommend, come on the podcast. You can speak to me for free, anonymously. And if you get in the club, there's, just tens and tens and tens of this approach, podcast with this approach about getting an ex back. So you can listen there. You can come on the podcast for free. You don't have to be a member of the club to come on the podcast. It's anonymous. You just write to my assistant, Michelle at CoachPaulagrooms.com. You can be a guest. We have a full coaching conversation that's free to you. You will hear it back, and I can get the context I need to really help you make a determination. But that's, generally speaking, that's what it is. So let's see. Kara, if you're not happy and want more time with a high-achieving man and trying to pull back expectations, then do you need to go after the 9-to-5 type? I know it's a personal decision, but any insight? If you're someone who needs the, take stock of your own needs and wants in a way to have someone who fits what you need and want. But if you have been programmed that love is trying to get your love interest time, attention, and affection, which I know because of who's asking this question, that's the deal. You're not going to feel attraction and love for someone who freely gives you their time, attention, and affection. You're going to feel not much of anything. It's not going to feel like love. So you have to go within and work on your programming to change the programming that you are not wanted, you are not worthy, you are not valuable, you are not seen, you are dismissed, you are abandoned. So you must, from your conscious mind, through sleep meditations and conscious affirmations, that you are lovable, that you are worthy, that you are valuable, and give yourself that so that you can either be okay with the higher achieving man because you won't feel the need to keep getting his time, attention, and affection. Or, which is, that's a hard one because you're going to go against your, he's going to kick up your programming, in other words, but you're going to feel the most attraction and love for that man. The 9 to 5 guy who has a lot of time and attention, if you are really feeling worthy, valuable, and lovable, when you receive his time, his love, you can start feeling more love for him. You're repairing your own programmed experience of what love is by feeding yourself the affirmations you know you want to embody. And sleep meditations in the I am form, I recommend Jessica Heslop, Jason Stevenson, Rising Higher meditations. There's some others, but in the I am form about your worth, value, and lovability. Let's see. So, Paula, we had 2 great private calls last year. I am the girl from London who met a guy through her work. I didn't want to say too much. Hopefully you remember. Okay. I've been seeing him. He told me yesterday that he has dreamed about me twice in the last week. I don't think he's lying. Does this show he has deep feelings, or should I not read too much into it? I think it's lovely. I think, yes. If it was a lovely dream, that's great. You just want it to solidify your knowledge within that you are wanted, you are loved, and ding, 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 in your mind, you want to be, oh, well, I'm getting deeper inside him. Sure. He is so handsome and sexy, but he really needs braces badly. How do I tell him this? Should I? Is that rude? Not my place? I'm very attracted to him, but he really needs the dental work. Okay. Great that you say he's really handsome and sexy. You're really attracted to him. Here's a good example of what I tell all women. Look at things, if you're liking somebody and you're close to wanting something, look at things that can change. Through your love, through your support, through your being with him and showing him that you want him and it's a great relationship, he's going to want to make you happy. He's going to want to please you. Something like this actually can change, meaning he can get braces. Things that cannot are traits. If he's rude, obnoxious, mean, abusive, those things we don't ever go near or bother with. Things that can change, sure. You don't like the way he dresses. You can do it though, not in I don't like what you wear. We got to get you new stuff to wear. It's when you're out and you pass by the men's store and there's the mannequin, you say, oh my gosh, you would look so good in that sweater. Can we go in? I just wanted you to try it on. I want to see you in that. You would look wonderful in that. He's going to want to please you. Things that can change. You don't like his haircut. Now, you can't straight up say it. You wouldn't want somebody to tell you, right? I don't like your hair or whatever. Same thing. We have to do it. But the good thing is that once you're in a real relationship, he's going to want to please you and you can help those things along. Always look at what can change. And if that's the thing that's holding you up, You can do it around things like, oh yeah, I had to see the dentist today. Um, I hate going to the dentist alone, and I'm gonna have to go for a, say I'm gonna have to go for cleaning in 2 weeks. Would you want to come? And then say, oh, I could make an appointment for you too if you need a cleaning. In other words, maybe he's not even seeing a dentist. The dentist will be telling him, and you don't have to. Stuff like that. Preach, Paula. Someone said. Nice, thank you. I I I'm preaching to the choir here. Yeah. But does his breath stink? Somebody asked. No, he's very hygienic all around. Fantastic. This is this is an easy one. Yes, my dentist has no problem telling me I don't have a perfect bite, for sure. So the dentist will tell him. So it's that kind of thing. Somebody on Instagram, thank you for sharing. It was helpful for me to hear. You're absolutely welcome. These are important things. Your expectations have to be in line. Think chats. Remember, you don't need more information, you need more reminding. Write it down. Am I attempting to change him? Go within. What do I want to change for me? What if I make a slight change might change everything in my world? Making him responsible for your happiness. No, I am happy. I am becoming happy. I am working on my inner happiness. I ams. Always I am whenever possible. A, take stock of his agency and no, that's not going to fundamentally change. Maybe you will be okay with him if you pull up on your own agency. I don't know. But trying to change his agency, T, his time. Great question from Kara there. Time, really important. Take stock. If you want, you got to decide what's most important to you. And especially men who are young and making their way in the world, or everything about him is work, 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 work. And men have many times, if they're well off, they're making a lot of money, they prefer to give you the money rather than the time. Doesn't mean they don't love you. Doesn't mean they don't want to be with you. They want you to fit into their life in a way that's going to fit into their life. And you have to decide, is that going to be right for me? Women who are with very, very well-to-do men. I mean, think of the highest we're talking about. Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos, Trump, the really powerful and moneyed men. Think they have a lot of time? They're spending a lot of time in their relationship? No. And the women they're with, you're going to have to be okay with that. Whatever you think of them, they are not putting a whole hell of a lot of time into their relationships. Can't. Everybody only has so much time. And that's a trade-off, which everything is. Everything is. And you have to be okay with the trade-offs you make. Not get with a man and then changes. And the S, again, that would be making him sacrifice, sublimate, subjugate his own needs, wants, and proclivities to be in a relationship. And generally, men will only do that for a short amount of time, and then it all falls apart, and they will not do it. So having that expectation of him will only hurt you and your chances, and we don't want that. So Love that you're all here. Love these questions. Kara just went through them. So that's the S, subjugate, sublimate, sacrifice their wants and needs. And so happy that, yes, thank you, that it does put this in perspective. Jay Bizzle, how do you respond to a man who has canceled plans last minute multiple times? Aha. Good question. I think we all know. Everybody put in the chat, what should she do with a man who has canceled plans last minute multiple times? I bet, Jay Bizzle, you know the answer to that. I think what you're asking is, how is it going to be possible that he'll stop that behavior? Or is it going to be possible that he'll stop that behavior if I see him and he won't cancel last minute? I'm going to give you quit responding. Someone says, quit responding next time he reaches out. Yes, that's always a possibility. Or you can take this tact and you have nothing to lose by doing it this one time. You can say, Tom, I appreciate that you've wanted to get together, put out however many times, 2 times, 3 times. The effort speaks to me, and I would like to as well. However, the cancellations last minute really don't work for me. If you want to give it one more try, I'm game. If you're just too busy now in your life to be dating or meeting up, I respect that. That's it. See what he does. If he asks again, now you've said it. So this is much better than just not responding now. Now you've said it. You make one more time. Then, if he does it again, that's it. Don't respond and don't ever say anything else. It's just not, no, you are wasting your time. I hope that makes sense. I'm reading a book about Melania Trump. She's a different kind of woman. You have to be a different kind of woman to be with that kind of man, a woman of steel. You think? For sure. For sure. You're not getting a lot of touchy-feely support. Yeah. For sure. Yes, someone says, I like that. Yes, because you have to be straightforward. One time, it's honest, it's real, you're giving him another chance. If he doesn't, then just don't answer again. Jay says, thank you. Yes, does make sense. Wonderful. I'm going to love you and leave you all now. Great live. Enjoyed it, as I always do. Please, if you will, do me the favor of, if you like these, share them out far and wide to help me get the word out and keep this channel going and keep these lives going. And again, if you want to talk to me like Christine did, just become a member of the 80/20 Wonder Club. It's less than a large latte a month. It's really, and you get all the episodes there, plus the Making Magic with Men Mindset Manual video series, and these lives, and being able to talk to me anonymously and ask a question. So I hope you will do that. I appreciate you all. I thank you all for being here. Love sharing a Friday night with you in this way. And I ask that you subscribe, share this out far and wide. Again, love you. Gonna leave you. See you in the next video. Bye.